Shalom. Call all Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakar Kodash. Double honor to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Peace, love, and salutations to those pushing his work in truth and sincerity. This is your brother Nathaniel from the GMS Camp Atlanta, coming back at you through the Spirit with another lesson. I pray I hope this is edifying. And this lesson, I'm going to be going over this video that I got from TikTok. And basically, it's just going over more exposure of Esau Edom, showing how he basically whitewashed history. And, he covered, we're going to get it, but he hid himself. Okay, he hid himself among the nations. All right. And I'm gonna start off with this precept. This is Isaiah 49:10. It says, "But I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret parts, and he shall not be able to hide himself." So, just as much as him going into all of these other nations, heaping unto himself all peoples and all nations and tongues, just as he's doing that, he's also hiding himself among those nations, okay? He's going in and calling himself the Greeks. You weren't the original Greeks. You're going in and you're calling yourself the Brits. You weren't the original Britons. You're going and calling yourself the Africans. You weren't African or so-called African. Okay, you weren't any of these things, but yet you called yourself these people. Okay, why? Because you're hiding yourself amongst the people. All right. It says his seed is spoiled, his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. Okay, so the time is coming, Esau, real soon, where you're going to be a spoil, as it says in Isaiah the 33rd chapter. Okay, you spoiled when you weren't spoiled. All right, and then eventually you're going to come into naught, to not even existing. So we're going to start this, play this video, and Lord willing, you brothers are edified.
It's an active story all over the world. We left our homes and flooded the world. We smothered culture. We smothered knowledge. We erased history and rewrote it our way. Myself, my grandfather is 100% Ashkenazi Jewish. Claiming to be Jewish, Ashkenazi Jewish is just a conspiracy. White men claiming to be of tribes of Israel when I'm Germanic. I have no ties to Israel, no ties to Judaism. I'm Germanic. I have no ties to Israel, no ties to Judaism. Except loosely written history that's been whitewashed over for centuries.
From the Renaissance.
Oh yeah, right. You wipe everything clean. It's funny how exactly the Renaissance is this rebirth, but it's white rebirth. I think at the same exact time the Renaissance is happening, Columbus is sailing to America.
You hear that? He said rebirth, white rebirth. Okay, white rebirth. All right. Now let's go to real quick. Let's go to Revelation chapter 20. Because we're going to get that rebirth in the scriptures. All right, it's Revelation chapter 20, and it says, it's verse 21. It says, "And I came and I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit, and a great chain in his hand, and laid hold of the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and is bound him 1,000 years." So, and there's a point in time when Esau was driven forth from among men, okay? And the world wasn't, there were still, people that lied and all that stuff. But, as it talks about when evil was multiplied in the earth, when Alexander the Greek had took over, okay? Or his 4 generals, okay? That's when evil was multiplied in the earth, somewhere around there. Salakia, I'm not getting it 100% accurate, but yeah, it's around that time when Alexander the Greek had took over. Evils multiplied in the earth. Okay, so Satan was the Satan, which Satan on earth is the so-called white man, who is the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan. Okay, and the devil means deceiver, and who's the deceiver? So at one point in time, he was unable to deceive the earth. All right. Verse 3, and it says, "And cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, So there was a time when Esau wasn't out telling his lies and deceiving the nations. And it says, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed a little season. So he was loosed. Okay? So Satan was loosed upon the earth. So he was able to go in into these other nations and steal their identities and steal their cultures and covet, everything that these nations had. Okay? Steal their heritage. Right? So when you go back to was it Jeremiah? Okay, 1 second. All right, so this is Micah 2:2. It's real quick, Micah 2:2. And it says, and they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away, so they oppress a man and his house, even a man in his own heritage. So yeah, they go into these other lands and they take the land and they oppress the indigenous nation of that land, and they call themselves the people of that land, and they've always been there the whole time. All right, that's the MO of the so-called white man. That's what he does. All right, that's what he does. All right, and this devil right here, was just hey, the Lord is making their tongue fall upon their own hand. And he's telling you, like, look, this is what the devil does. All right, so Job 9:24, we bring that out all the time. Job 9:24, it says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, and he covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So he, as he said, he whitewashed history, which the true history, the true judges of the earth, he covered them up and put his own self there. He destroyed all of the history that showed who the true people of this earth were, the chosen people. He replaced it with himself. And not only did he do that, but then the devil also stole the cultures of the other nations too. A lot of the other nations, we didn't say that he were those people. You see? All right, but the true judges, which are the Israelites, he covered them up and said that he were the people. So as the Edomite is saying, do the Balfour Declaration, they became the people, but they're not the people. Okay. Of the they're not they are Esau, they are the Edomites spoken of in the book, but they're not the chosen spoken of in the book. All right, they're the wicked spoken of in the book. That's what they are. All right, and we know who he is. Like I just brought out, Esau's not able to hide himself anymore. We know who the wicked is. Okay, you can't hide yourself anymore. All right, so last precept. Actually, no, I got a couple more. This is First Maccabees, chapter 3 and verse 48, and it says, and lay open the book of the law, wherein the heathen sought to paint his likeness and their images. You see, so he covered the faces of the judges thereof. He painted his likeness and his images among the indigenous people. All right, and America makes sure that America especially takes caution in making sure that they cover this up. Okay, they take a lot of caution in making sure that they cover this up. All right, so that they can perpetuate the lie. But the lie is coming out. You now have your own people telling that, hey, we are not the people. We cannot be the people. We never were the people. Okay? And this dude, he's so animately against it, he might actually be a Jake and not even knowing it. Okay? So that's my last precept, and then we're going to close out on this one. This is Habakkuk 2, and it's one of my favorite precepts, but Habakkuk 2 and 5. And it says, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he's a proud man, neither keepeth at home. He's always in everybody else's business, right? Who enlarges his desire as hell and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations, and heaping unto him all peoples. Okay? He enlarges his border as death. Okay? He heapeth unto him fields and take them by violence. Right? He covet fields and taketh them by violence, as we brought out in the book of Jeremiah. Okay? That's what this devil does. All right? And then he calls himself the people of that land. But guess what? The Lord has made it where this devil can no longer hide himself. You even got his people now telling you who he is. All right? And not to mention, if you just scroll down, and I'm just going to read the first part of this. Habakkuk 2 and 16, it says, thou art filled with shame for glory. Okay? So you have a history that identifies who you are. You see, you may be able to lie and say you're not the people, but you can't hide the history that you have. Okay? You and your people have a history of death, rob, rape, and murder. Okay? So you can't hide anymore. The Lord has made you bare, and he has revealed your secret parts and showed the world that all of you are of the same stock. All right? And you're done. So, with that, that's pretty much it. I'm going to go ahead and end it off by giving all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to Eldrin, Apostle Graham Mills. So until next time, I can say Shalom.